But it's not just hypocrisy, it is the product of an intentional plan by a government on the other side of the world, probably our greatest geopolitical foe over the course, and adversary over the course of the next decade. What China recognized was that this is actually an opportunity to achieve moral legitimacy on the global stage. If you don't understand this, you got to listen really carefully to what Xi Jinping says on a given day. Nearly every time Xi Jinping is pressed by, say, the UN or other international bodies on the Uyghur human rights crisis, for example, where there are over 1 million religious minorities enslaved in Xinjiang in concentration camps, subject to forced sterilization, communist indoctrination, and worse, the first thing that Xi Jinping often said in the last 2 years is that Black Lives Matter shows that the United States is no better. That is not an accident. If you listen to the comments of his top diplomat, Yang Jiechi, who came to the Alaska summit here in the United States just a year and a half ago, he spent his 15-minute opening statement lecturing Tony Blinken, our Secretary of State, stating that China wanted to see the U.S. do better on human rights and that the U.S. needs to stop slaughtering, that is his word, slaughtering Black Americans. Now, this would be laughable if it were not for the fact that our own companies implicitly lend moral credibility to those claims. Take the case of Disney, for example, that will, a couple of years ago, say that it won't shoot a film in the state of Georgia if Georgia passes a new anti-abortion statute, or this year share its opinions about transgender education and gender identity education from kindergarten through second grade, without saying a peep when it goes just a year ago to the Xinjiang province of China, literally ground zero of that Uyghur human rights crisis, to film Mulan, not saying a thing until the very end of the movie, where they finally muster up the courage, you can see in the credits to the film today, muster up the courage to say that we thank the local authorities for allowing us to film here. The very authorities that are responsible for quite possibly the largest human rights affront committed by a major nation since the Third Reich of Germany. That's Disney's behavior. Same thing with respect to LeBron James, the NBA, Nike, BlackRock, Airbnb, you name it. And the game is played in a way that really allows China to use the new international class of moral arbiters of justice. There's another problem, really, when companies, multinational companies based in the United States, become the self-appointed arbiters of international justice. The very people who are known to criticize injustice per the demands of the stakeholder capitalist and three-letter acronymized ESG or otherwise movement, the very people who are known to perpetually criticize injustice in the United States remain silent about the not microaggressions but actual macroaggressions in the places where they're still occurring, creating a false moral equivalence between the United States and China, eroding our greatest geopolitical advantage of all. And that is not our nuclear arsenal, I will remind you. That is our moral standing on the global stage.